What's up again though, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gamer, and I'm here to do a follow-up to my Final Fantasy VII Remake demo playthrough, as this is just my overall first impressions now that I've had a chance to kind of play through the demo a few times and just give my initial thoughts and just my feelings now that the game is only about a month away. Now overall, what I think about this demo, I think it's a perfect demo to kind of give us a feeling for what we can expect from the official Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, they even said at the bottom of the screen that this is like gameplay in progress. However, I think this is as close to the actual game as we're gonna get. I didn't really see too many things that they could change at this point that would really make much of a change or improvement on the actual game in the current state that it's in. So I think that this is pretty much what we're gonna get when the game comes out early next month. There's definitely been some major improvements. There's definitely some things I really like about it, and I think that as an overall remake, I think it's going to be a very, very well done remake for, without question, the very first JRPG game I ever played, as well as first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, as well as being probably the single most important video game that I've ever played. However, I think with all of its changes, I don't think I'm going to revere it as much as I do the original, but I think it's going to be a solid game to add to my overall collection. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a great game. I don't think it's going to be amazing. I don't think there's anything that they're going to do that's really going to surprise me, and I think it's probably a contender for Game of the Year, but I don't think it's going to win. And I can even openly confess that as it stands right now, even though the game isn't out yet, I already have an idea of the rating score I'm going to give it, and I have a very, very doubtful sense that anything that game is going to have, it's going to change my opinion, because there's already two glaring problems I have with this game that, you know, they're not going to change. But going back into the demo, going to some of the obvious changes that they added, is strictly to the combat system. Now, at the very beginning, they give you the option if you actually want to use the much faster system or go to the classic style. Now, the classic style is not really classic style. I really thought that they were going to go and use the traditional style of, you know, once you engage in battle, your characters, you know, stand in one place and you just attack each other back and forth from the two different sides. That's not how it actually works. Basically, what the classic style ends up doing is your characters kind of go into a defensive mode, and then you choose a specific attack for them to do. So basically, it's kind of a hybrid between the original classic battle system and mixing with something like, say, Final Fantasy XII, how your characters are moving. They're not really standing in one spot, but they're kind of waiting for a command for them to do something. Now, one thing that I absolutely do really am very, very impressed with is the addition of the ATB, which I'm just going to call it the special or the ability bar. It's similar to the standard attack bar or functions bar that was in the original, but there are several different bars. Now, the reason that this is good is because at any given time, your characters can always be on the attack. But as the ATB builds up, what the system allows you to do is that the more bars you allow it to fill up, it allows you to chain multiple different actions at once. It's not like how it was in the original, how only one character could do only one action per turn. But this time you can chain multiple different abilities. So you can combine attacks, special attack, and use an item. Or you can mix it up, or you can use two different spells at one time. And I think that adds for a much faster pace. Now, I was a little bit concerned that with the new battle system, it was going to feel very, say, Final Fantasy 15-ish or something like Kingdom Hearts, and it's not like that at all. It's definitely fast-paced, but it's not as fast as those games. It's kind of a mix between Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 15. It's kind of something in the middle, and I think that works. Another thing that I absolutely do appreciate that they improved upon is the style in terms of character attack approaches. Now, what I mean by that is that there's certain characters that are only going to be good in certain situations. So, for example, you have pretty much two primary characters that you're using in this demo. And you have Cloud, who's basically a straightforward offensive close-range fighter, and you have Barrett, who uses a minigun. Now, because he's using a minigun, his attacks at close range aren't really as effective, but this is a character that is best used at or attacking enemies that are at a distance. I think this is an absolutely incredible change that's going to add a lot to the overall gameplay, especially with the variety of characters that you have. Because the one complaint that a lot of people, even me, have had with the original is that the characters themselves do not really feel all that different. You can really build them to be anything you want. For example, if I really wanted to, I could actually build up Cloud to be my primary healer and make Aerith the offensive juggernaut. There wasn't really there really wasn't an incentive to develop your characters to make them different, because they all pretty much play the same. Something like that really wouldn't be implemented until, say, Final Fantasy X, where each character had a specific role and you really need to switch them out for different situations. I think that this game is going to incorporate something like that. So you're going to have characters like Barrett and Vincent that use guns that are going to be very, very good for attacking enemies at a distance, and characters like Cloud, Sif, Tifa, or even Red 13, they're going to be really, really good at close range attacking. And I think something in mixing those up is an absolutely phenomenal improvement that I think is going to add a lot to this game. Now, as the demo went on, you know, there's a level of exploration. There's certain slight paths that you can find. There's items you can pick, you know, materia shards that you can pick up as well. I wasn't able to really check how materia is actually, how it actually works. I don't think we need to get that much, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty basic to what we've experienced in the original game. Now, when it came to the boss fight is going to be these boss fights are definitely going to be a lot more challenging. I mean, it's not just going up and attacking. You kind of need to attack specific parts of the body. You need to kind of focus. You need to play defensive, because your characters can actually block or defend themselves from attacks to take less damage. However, I will say the one thing I found a little bit annoying in this particular boss fight was that when it was about to initiate like its major attack, like you instantly had to stop everything you're doing and just kind of go into hiding. And I really hope that not every boss fight is like that. How if they're going to use some super ultimate attack that you have to stop everything you're doing and just go into hiding. I think that kind of ruins the pace. I think the game would have worked a little bit better, and I think the pace would have worked a little bit better if the attack had actually come, but you were actually able to dodge it on the actual battlefield itself, because it's a pretty solid area. It's not like too big, but it's not too small. So I think being able to dodge those attacks, because you can actually block and dodge attacks, really would have made the pacing of the combat a little bit better. And as the demo pretty much ended, you know, you just ran through the facility and were attacking enemies while the timer was going out. So overall, I think the remake was about what you would expect. I highly doubt they're going to do anything too significant that's going to surprise us, but I do think that this is going to be a great experience for people who probably have never had to play the original or weren't interested in playing the original. I think this would actually be a good game to at least introduce them, and maybe they may not respect or understand the significance of why Final Fantasy VII is important, but if they were ever curious, I think this would be a good game for them to try out. So those are just my initial impressions. Again, great demo. I have no doubt this is going to be a great game. However, got a few complaints that I don't think are going to change, but I don't think that's going to ruin my overall experience when this game finally comes out, because I've already pre-ordered 2 copies of this, and yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on it, because I will definitely be playing it non-stop once I get my hands on it. So those are just my first impressions on the game, its gameplay style, and just a couple of functions that it had. If you happen to play the demo, what were your thoughts on it? Please share your thoughts with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up, and do not forget to press that subscribe button, because every subscription counts. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.